Welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. If you're not too careful, you just might learn something.
Hi there, and welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next, and if you're not too careful, you just might learn something. So this morning, it is a very brisk 24 degrees outside. It's actually 41 here in the shop. Now, I have a heat pump out here in the shop, but of course, you know, that uses a good bit of electricity when it runs. And since my accident, when it gets cold out, yeah, I know it, and it really affects the usability of my hand. So I had dabbled with the idea of making a waste oil heater, you know, of the kind of like the one that Mother Earth News came out with back in the 70s, and it's kind of a drip style thing. Well, these things are great, but I never went there because they're very high maintenance. You know, they build up a lot of ash in them, and you got to keep them clean. And most importantly is that they could be inherently dangerous because you have to really carefully monitor the flow of oil that's dripping into this heater. And as the heater gets hot, you know, it thins the oil out, and there's the possibility of it overflowing and then catching fire and burning your shop down, etc. Given the necessity of this here and needing it to be a little extra warm in the shop for my hand to feel comfortable, I dove down the rabbit hole, and I'll show you what I came up with. Now, tucked away in the corner of my shop is this little gem right here. And this is what I came up with trying to design a safe, reliable, and economical waste oil heater. So let's dive in and take a look at all the innards and the controls and stuff. So I've got a temperature probe that goes into the side of the tank and monitors the temperature of the furnace or the heater while it's in operation. And then down at the bottom, I have, for safety, it's basically a stainless steel industrial float valve. And it has a little float, and it has a magnet in it. And if the level of the oil in the heater gets too high, then it will trigger a relay in here which will activate or deactivate this solenoid here and shut off the flow of oil to the heater. Since the heater only runs with a very tiny little bit of oil in the burn chamber at any given time, within a minute, you know, it goes out. And it's also a forced draft style. Some of them also refer to them as like a blue flame type of heater. I had to get a little creative with this because the forced draft blower, which I got out of an old gas furnace, is kind of loud. So I have it upstairs, and I have a 2-inch pipe run down here to feed the heater. That way, so when I'm recording, it's in here and filming, it's not quite so loud. I've been running this thing for a few days now, and I think I've got it. It's gone through a few design evolutions, but I think I've got it to the point where it burns nice and clean. And it doesn't make a ton of ash that you have to clean out all the time. Now, It's going to, because it's waste oil. All right, you're going to have ash or deposits in the burn chamber, but if you get your force draft set properly, then it's very minimal, as you'll see, because I'm going to have to clean this out. It's like I said, it's been run. I've run it for like 3 days now in testing before I made this video, and you'll see the ash buildup that's in here, and we just take a shop vac and go in there and just vacuum it out. So as you can see, there's very little deposit built up in here. Let me get my shop vac and I'm going to clean this out. And this shop vac's going to be loud, so. Now, for how this thing works is, most of the time when folks make these, they have to start them with like some kerosene or diesel fuel, something that will burn readily, and preheat this burn chamber and get it to where you can start feeding the waste oil in. Now what I've done is I've tried to make this as hands-off as possible, with the exception of cleaning out the burn chamber here. But underneath this burn chamber is a simple eye from a little tabletop hot plate. It's like an electric stove burner eye, and it's up underneath this burn chamber here. And what I'll do is, when I'm ready to fire this thing up, is I flip that preheater on, and it will heat this burn chamber up. And then when I start feeding the oil in, then I start the force draft blower. And I also have basically like a barbecue grill igniter, and it'll light this thing off very easily. It makes a pretty bright spark there if you preheat it, and it usually takes about 5 minutes or so. Then it'll light on its own with the igniter. So, all right. Let's flip this thing on and get her started up. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my preheat on. And this is a little thermostat that was originally on the little hot plate thing, but for the most part I keep it just turned up to where it's just on steady. This is a baffle that kind of just, it helps keep the heat inside this outer tank here and holds it there, so it doesn't just go straight up the chimney and outside. And once that thing warms up, we'll give it about 5 minutes or so, and we'll get her fired up. As you can see underneath here, that's the little burner eye, and it's heating up that burn chamber. You'll see, and start seeing a few wisps of smoke there. All right, that tells me that chamber is getting good and hot. So now we're going to turn on our oil feed and then open our gate valve and let some oil start flowing down in there. Now, as that chamber is getting hot, And we have some oil flowing in there. See if we can get some picture there. You can see, there it goes. Look at that. It lit by itself without me having to do anything. And then we turn our forced draft blower on. We'll regulate our oil flow to where it just drips in there a little bit at a time. And it gets picked up by that draft blower. Let's get some oil going in here. There we go. We want just enough oil to have it, keep it burning, but not so much that it just floods the burn chamber. Now, contrary to popular belief, you don't necessarily want a perfectly blue flame, but the color rendering of this camera isn't perfect. I'm just using my phone here to shoot down inside the heater, but it's a mixture of the blue and the yellow flame. It's showing up a little more yellow on the camera, but in me looking at it, it's really pretty blue. Then we close that up. As you can see, the temperature is up to 281 degrees, and that'll eventually start, you'll see it start climbing as it gets going and gets really good and hot in there. And then now that we're all heated up and everything, we can turn our preheat element off and it'll just take off on its own. Now what I have additionally here is I have a little ductwork built around, or a baffle built around the back of this heater, and I have a duct blower hooked to it. And what that does is that takes that heat that would normally just radiate off the perimeter of this heater and just rise and blow it out the front of the heater, and it makes it a lot more efficient. And then additionally with that, I can turn on the circulating blower of my HVAC system, because I have return registers around the shop, and it'll pick up and circulate the heat and even out the temperature of the workshop. And I can get it up to 75, 80 degrees in here if I wanted to. And once I get this thing going, if I turn it up, I can get this thing up to like 700, 800 degrees. So let's see how our heater is burning here. Yeah, we're going good. Let's turn it up. Let's crank it up a bit. Get a little more oil going in there and a little more draft air. Once I do that, then you'll see this temperature really start climbing up. Now my fuel tank is just a converted propane tank that I turned upside down and took the regular propane valve out and plumbed in my gate valve and my solenoid valve. then I cut a hole in the bottom, put a little lid there, and that's where I pour my waste oil in. And I can put 2.5 gallons in here, and it'll bring it up to right about here, and that'll burn for about 6 to 8 hours before I have to, it gets down low and I'll have to start filling it back up again. And then I have a pretty much unlimited supply of my own waste oil from either oil changes on my own vehicles and equipment here, or vehicles that come through the shop here that get worked on. So that way I can pretty much ensure the quality of my waste oil, make sure it doesn't have like antifreeze or water and contaminants in it. All right, so we got it nice and toasty warm in the shop here. It's tooling along at about 688 degrees there, 689-ish. She's running really, really good. No problems. I'm sure I can make further improvements, but I'm calling this a win. So I'm happy with how it came out, and appreciate y'all watching, and stay tuned because I'll do a more technical deep dive into the aspects of the burner and the blower and the vortex generator, all that, because really that's the trick to getting one of these to work right, is to get your your draft blower set up to where it's giving just enough air and you have a range of adjustment. I mean, you don't want something that just blows too much air in there and you can't control it, and that's no good. So, and the other thing too is the size of the burner pod. You'd be surprised, you might be surprised at how small that little burner pod is, or burn chamber, because it doesn't take a lot. And as I'll cover in the next video, where I go into the more technical aspects of the different design revisions that I built with this, and until I got to this level, it doesn't take a lot. I had one that was too big, and it just made so much heat, and this thing just turned bright cherry red, and it was just way overkill. So, but anyway, again, thank you for watching, and if you like the kind of stuff you see on my channel, I ask that you please subscribe, and feel free to comment. Welcome all comments, good, bad, and otherwise, except for the trolls. I hate them. You can reach out to me, like I said, either in the comments, or you can reach me at MacGyversWorkshop@gmail.com, or check out our website, which is www.MacGyversWorkshop.com. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.